Hey, friends and family. Hey, loved ones. How are you doing today? Just wanted to share a few things about my alchemical process in progress. It's a work in practice and a work in play. What's been going on with me? There's some things definitely coming into completion and some other things being initiated into. So, yeah, it's just so awesome, like to see this continuous flow and letting go, letting go, letting go. So I was super grateful for some of the lessons that came up for me these last 2 years. And I feel like I'm beginning to see a little more clearly around some of the patterns and how they related to the relationship that I had with myself. And all of those relationships and reflections really helped, even though it didn't really feel like it was a help at the time, because it didn't feel very good. And it wasn't very ideal or pleasant or pleasing for my ego, And so, but I am super grateful for all those reflections that helped me to see like where there was an imbalance, an excess, or a deficiency within me, within like certain areas of my being or of who I thought I was supposed to be, and all those things, all the unconscious patternings and conditioning and stories and identities, all these things that tied me or bound me to something else outside of me and kept me separate from me, kept me separate from we, kept me like self-important and excluded, devalued, and not allowed to be. So, just wow. Like, even though these things, like, they really hurt and they really stung, and it contributed to a lot of suffering, repeating these patterns, perpetuating these patterns again and again. And so it was like just amazing, really, to have this collapse of the tower to show me where things weren't in alignment and where things were not built on a foundation, like a true foundation that would support the whole. And so just seeing into all those things and being grateful for everything that has been cleared away or composted or given back, for the integrity of the whole and for that balance and that sacrifice that was made to let go, to make this process sacred and to make, or to honor all parts of the whole and to honor the process of this ever growing, ever changing ever stretching soul, like wow, just wow. And so, I was just flipping open my journal that I've been writing in this month and just opened up to a page that was saying thank you. Like, thank you, frog medicine and being struck by lightning. And then there's a couple other animal totems that came up and was looking at to help me integrate and play with and work with and honor some of these energies within myself and in creation. And so I always love that kind of stuff. And what that brought up for me too was that I was wondering, what perspectives, what viewpoints and all that, what have I not been valuing? What have I been dismissing or devaluing? And yes, surprise, surprise, it was my own perspective that I was devaluing because I wanted it to be validated by someone outside of me. And so like that was the viewpoints that I wasn't quite valuing, or I was devaluing or dismissing or in certain ways. And so yeah, I love working with the animals, and I love the web of life, and I love all of creation. I love the goddess, and I love all of us, all of our, all of her children, all the animals, all the plants, just all living beings. Like, they're so incredible and amazing and just so beautiful to me. Like, just this whole web of life that's interconnected. And each part plays a part. Which, in this whole, in this whole play. And so I was just thinking, I don't really, when I'm looking at the animal totems, I know like that there are certain animals that like kind of seem badass and awesome and like, like like the ones to work with sometimes, like on the superficial, judgments about that. Like, yeah, but I actually like really love like all of them, and they all have such amazing magic and wisdom to teach and to share and and to embody and to show us and everything. And so I was thinking, well, like a lion's no better than a mouse, and like just like because mouse holds a lot of wisdom to help with the details and to help with other things, and lion has its own qualities to help with strength and like those kinds of things, and fierceness and protection and all of that. And so, but yeah, even that little fable, like where the lion needed help from the mouse to pull a thorn out of his foot, and so sometimes like we do tend to dismiss and devalue some of the little things sometimes, and our own selves that we see as insignificant. And so it's just like messages coming back to me that you are no greater and no lesser than the birds, the bees, the sunshine, and the trees. And just kind of thinking about, yeah, if I don't, look at like the animals as being better or lesser than, just unique and different, and yeah, all like gifted with all they hold for the whole and the part that they play within the whole. And so like, yeah, kind of seeing where I excluded myself and didn't really value like my own experience, my own vision, my own insights, my own perspectives, and kept them, a lot of those, to myself, not wanting to upset the apple cart or make waves or make anyone else come uncomfortable, which, I mean, it's good to honor boundaries, and I kind of like never really wanted to convert people to my point of view, because I found that very tasteless in the past, where I've experienced interactions with very pushy people, and I just like never wanted to like be like that, like to push my own dogma on someone else and tell them that they needed it and that they would be better if they would just, listen and accept like that this was the way, and this was the one right way. It's just like, yeah, that's a turn off to me. And so, yeah, I never really wanted to do that, but I think I overcompensated and, kept certain things to myself. And then at other times, maybe would shadow dump and be like really rigid and holding on to like certain perspectives that kind of inflated, yeah, my sense of self, because I felt already so deflated and insignificant. And so, yeah, it's just kind of interesting to look at, like in those ways that we do contain all things. And so it's just like seeing where I've directed certain energies and taking course correction thanks, and saying thanks for the lesson. And yeah, so it just kind of puts things into perspective. Like, yeah, I think spider medicine's awesome to work with. I also think like the jaguar is awesome to work with, and the frog is amazing, and just like all of the animals like have something to teach. I just love every single one of them, and I just think it's so magical to look and see like what they like hold for the whole, and what they embody and what they teach, like, and how amazing it is like for all parts to be like interconnected and in harmony. And this is so beautiful, like that way, looking at how life really does always seek balance. And so it's, yeah, super interesting just to see and look into all these things. And so, just saying thank you for all these things. And the archer's arrow hitting its mark, the tension of the bow, the tension of the opposites, shaking things up with Uranus, louder and louder signs, revelations, or red flags coming up. And I've also seen how angry I was with certain parts of myself that wanted to continue wearing blinders and not see certain things or look into them more deeply, rejecting other aspects and believing in the lies, the self-deception, the safety and survival mechanisms. Yeah, and the false standards of perfection or idealization. The instinct injury, PTSD, the ADD, the running away, avoiding, disowning my own energy and my own right to be everything and nothing, whatever I happen to be. So all things, all of me, all I am. Thank you. Thank you for all the potent fertilizer, acknowledging the blind spots, the challenges, the weaknesses, the limitations, the distortions, misperceptions, filters, mental hoops and complexes, overcompensations, artificial lenses, roles, stories, descriptions, aversions, and reactions. And so I was just kind of thinking about balance and harmony, and letting go of perfect or idealized ways to be. And a friend had reminded me about a sign that I used to have in my bathroom, and it was kind of funny because I was thinking about that like not long before she had mentioned it. And it was something to the effect of, this house is clean enough to be healthy and dirty enough to be happy. But I was like, you could also reverse that too. It's dirty enough to be healthy and clean enough to be happy. And so I was just like thinking that's just really fun. Like, because if it's in balance, it's both ways. And so it was fun. So seeing everyone has their own personalities, their preferences, their opinions, their styles, their comfort levels, their strengths, and their blind spots. And everyone has their comfort levels or their comfort zones. And sometimes like people need to be like super rigid, I think, with their boundaries because they feel so defensive. And so that's where a lot of like walls and masks and, blinders can be put on too, because sometimes it's so painful to see what we don't want to see about our own selves or about our situation or about like our false identity. And so just having like certain compassion about that, and understanding really, like what that's about, and seeing how angry I was at others, like, because I could see that reflected back to me. And it was a window into my own self. And so we do need different energies, elements, and all ways of being, different personalities and perspectives. So just valuing the whole, valuing all parts of the whole, and including myself in that. And so I had been looking at inferiority and superiority complexes last night and seeing like kind of where those things stemmed from and where I picked up some of that programming from, because you don't really have one without the other. And so, yes, looking at some of my relationships that really were imbalanced and helped me to see those things. I've been looking deeper into that, and I probably will do a video soon sharing about all the things that I learned and how grateful I am for the teachers that I got to have and that showed up for me in my life through certain relationships to help me see like where I was disallowing and dishonoring me and playing out certain patterns, kind of letting these shadow aspects like take over the hotel, And so, looking at the inferior and superior complexes, that mindset and that false humility and that external expectation, the need for validation, pride, vanity, shame, jealousy, and guilt, over idealizations, misperceptions, and false lenses, giving my power away. So those things that kept me separate and small, and kept me from really seeing all of me, because I am great after all. So thank you for this alchemicalization. And so the superiority in the small self, the low self-worth programming, I realized I was devaluing me and my right to be not fully holy me. Yeah, not allowing myself to be fully free and holy me. Not allowing myself to be, due to certain old stories, memories, and beliefs, identities, cages, unconscious agreements, and participation in dysfunctional dynamics, that perpetuation of suffering. The dynamics were imbalanced, they were parasitic, they were excessive in certain areas and deficient in other areas, passive aggressive and very addictive, like replacements and substitutions for what I really wanted. And so I was playing into this martyr, victim, mother superior, miser, judge, savior, villain. Yeah. And so it was like that loop back and forth. Like, I am this martyr. I've got to do everything on my own. I can do it. I'll just let this slide. I'm not, not stand up for myself. It's okay. They didn't mean it. Like always making excuses for poor behavior and not calling someone out on it. But it just kind of feeling like, well, I guess I have time and I have the energy and I'm patient and yeah, I can just let this go. But in certain ways, there were certain resentments that were building up that I wasn't aware of. And then then it would be this push and pull struggle, and it would be this, okay, I give and I give and I give and I give and I give. And then when I needed something back, it was like, there wasn't anything for me. Yeah. And it was also because certain things I wouldn't allow myself to receive in certain ways. And so I can see how the martyr and the miser, they play, they dance together. And so that's the swing of the pendulum sometimes. And so the mother superior, that judge, that super ego judge too, needed to have that, I guess, that little platform to kind of, and that pedestal to look down on everyone else. But then feeling so unworthy myself. It was just and so I see how that was reflected back to me as well. So it's so interesting. Yeah, all these things in hindsight and multidimensional seeing. How it created and perpetuated a lot of dysfunctional dynamics and pain and stuff that wasn't aligned and things that were built in other relationships that really didn't have any substance or really authentic value. It was only the value that that it could provide for the ego or for certain survival strategies and comfort zones and all those things. So I'm realizing now the true value of myself and the gift I'm here to be just by and through being me and seeing the ways that I see and being the ways that I happen and get to be and the woman I am and I will be. I'm becoming being me, love for all of me, love for me and we. I am no lesser or better than in the circle of everything. In the circle, we are all equal. Here we are truly one. And so, just looking at those fun things. And there's a quote from Dancing the Dream by Jamie Sams that I've had in mind the last week or two. And I was trying to remember what the quote was, and I found it today. And it was it's all about these kind of these blocks and these obstacles or this armor or this weight that we carry that really drags us down or hinders us from taking off and soaring and really really being in that state of acceptance and flow. And so it says human beings have 5 elements that stifle the spirit's ability to soar. That's unwavering seriousness, self-importance, lack of imagination, the mind's negative chatter, and fear. And so just looking at all those things, like as I've been clearing out my skeletons in my closet and letting go of, all these things I no longer need to carry. And all these obstacles or all of these things, these distractions, these distortions, and these cages, these mental prisons. Just looking into all those things and really being appreciative of what I have been able to see and how I've been able to course correct and let it work for me and let it happen for me and let it be a gift for me rather than happening to me or, it possessing me. If I'm possessing something, then it possesses me. So if I'm holding on to something, then it's holding on tight to me. And so, it's just like good to receive some of those messages. And just wanted to share the magic from the mystical Shaman Oracle and the blade. So the blade, the essence. The blade represents sharpness of the mind, body, and spirit. Pointing upward, it summons the power of heaven. When aimed down to the ground, it anchors the power of the heavens on earth. The blade can be a healing tool or a weapon. Wield it wisely, and it will transmit power, bestow initiations, cut energetic cords from the past, or sever toxic relationships. Use it with anger, and it will slash, stab, and kill. The invitation. You are invited to draw your blade and use it. It is not auspicious to hesitate, to waste time in idle talk, or to hide from the inevitable. Heaven and earth are aligned to support you in claiming your power, so take decisive action. Overcome your fear of hurting others, unsheathe the blade, and use it wisely. So this was a good message for me because that was one of the things I was afraid of, was wielding my own power and hurting, unintentionally, of course, hurting innocents, hurting others that I loved, or having others be hurt because of my use of my own power, because of past trauma. So this is an awesome message for me to receive, and I'm super grateful to have that confirmation and that, to know, to this, to add to my own deep knowing that it is time, and it is time for action, decisive action, making those loving decisions and taking those actions, because is a demonstration of my care. Care in action. This is the medicine. It's time to put down the sword and place it back in its scabbard. Do not offer your blade in service to toxic emotions. You will be faced with an even more disagreeable future with the people or situations you are attempting to banish. Put the blade to rest until your inner fire has mellowed. Then use your blade with impeccable intention to cut the energetic cords that are tying you to the drama at hand. Set yourself free. So put the blade to rest until your inner fire has mellowed. Then use your blade with impeccable intention to cut the energetic cords that are tying you to the drama at hand. Set yourself free. So pretty awesome. And I hope that blesses and serves you today as well. So the magic is number 33. This symbol represents the infinite intelligence of Great Spirit that makes up the fundamental fabric of the universe. We experience the evidence of this magic through synchronicity or meaningful coincidence. The invitation. When magic appears, you're invited to see the world through the eyes of wonder and awe, taking on the innocence of a child who knows that all things are possible. Infinite potential exists in the great mind, and you are being invited to call it in and recognize the dance in synchronistic events, signs, symbols, and omens given to you through the oracle of the ordinary world. This is a sign that Spirit is reminding you that you co-create your world in a sacred partnership. Your part is to dream, to intend, and to watch for the signs that show you what next action to take. Right now, it appears that you are on the right track to make your dreams come true. Great Spirit is listening and acting on your behalf. Pay attention. Magic gives birth to miracles. Yay. So when magic appears, you're invited to see the world through the eyes of wonder and awe, taking on the innocence of a child, which is amazing because, yeah, I love my inner child, my magical child, and I always do like look at the world through those lenses. But yeah, sometimes I can get stuck in my romantic idealism, and so yeah, and so Porcupine's been coming up to play too, and that's all about playfulness and like beginner's mind and all those things. And so fun just to play with all these things. Here's the medicine of magic. Have you forgotten that you live in a world that is infused with magic? Perhaps you've become cynical and think you have to create your life all by yourself, with no help from others. It's time to remember your relationship to Source, for you are a part of the story of the world, a living spark of spirit living on earth for this short time as an emissary of light. If you look back over your life, you will find many instances in which your actions alone were not the cause of out-of-the-blue coincidences that led you to that new relationship, job, or other important moment on your journey. So if you look back over your life, you will find many instances in which your actions alone were not the cause of out-of-the-blue coincidences that led you to the new relationship, job, or other important moment on your journey. So how do you stay in this awareness? The answer is simple. If you can be as a little child and cultivate that wondrous curiosity, you will see the magic again and be amazed. Remember, magic is real and in everything. Yeah, it is. Just trusting in the unseen helpers and in this partnership with Spirit, in the seen and the unseen, and embracing the mystery and playing this game of hide and seek with God. And it's really entertaining and fun sometimes, like when we can allow it and trust it and let go of certain things. So, all right, there's one more thing I have to share. And I got a new book for my birthday called The Sophia Code. And wow, it's amazing. I am blown away by it. And so I flipped open to page 153 or 152 and 153 the other day. And I know this book is just going to be amazing because it already is. And there's, another page that I flipped open to as well, chapter 1. And I have not read that yet, but I'm sure I'm going to love it so much. But here was what caught my eye when I first opened it. And there's this chant here. And it looks like Om Tar Tutar Tur Soa. Om Tar Tutar Tur Soha. And I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, so I'm going to look up those Sanskrit words and see. But it's repeated 7 times in here. And it says, by the power of 7, self-realized heaven, it is done. I now multiply the power of 7, self-realized heaven, by the power of 3, a perfect trinity to reveal the 21 aspects of green tarot within me. I accept that I hold the golden keys to my heaven on earth. I accept that I create my reality by power of my word. My word is good and my heart is pure. By the loving power of my pure word, I now activate the 21 aspects of green tarot's key code 3 transmission within me. Om Tar Tuar Tur Soha. I now recognize and activate the first aspect of key code 3 within me. I am the swift one of heroic glory. I am the waves of self-realization that swiftly arise from my innocent nature. I am the heroic guide to the salvation of my innocence. My eyes flash with the lightning of wise counsel. I rejoice in the glory of Sophia's light as the covenant of heaven on earth within me for the liberation of all beings. I now recognize and activate the second aspect of key code 3 within me. I am the one of supreme peace. Pure as autumn moonlight and bright as 1,000 constellations, my innocent nature reflects the supreme peace of my divinity's light. As a wayshower for all, I walk upon the rays of my guiding light innocence to live in authentic peace with myself, abiding in the supreme peace that arises from following my heart. I am a living foundation for building heaven on earth realities for the liberation of all beings. Om Tar Tuar Tur Soha. I now recognize and activate the third aspect of key code 3 within me. I am the one of golden life. I am perfectly designed to enjoy and increase life in all ways. In honor of the gift of life that I am given, I choose to live a golden life. I unconditionally bless life, embodying the golden ray of wisdom, receptivity, generosity, and prosperity. I choose to enjoy my golden life by increasing the reality of heaven on earth for the liberation of all beings. Om Tar Tutar Tur Soha. I now recognize and activate the fourth aspect of Key Code 3 within me. I am the one of complete victory. Homage. I crown the sovereign Holy One within me. I sit in honor upon a yellow lotus throne, embodying the virtues of my highest potential in this lifetime. I am the pure positive focus of my innocence, aligning the victories of divinely guided action. I consecrate all my creations arising from the actualization of heaven on earth as a complete victory for the liberation of all beings. Om Tar Tutar Tur Soha. So that was 152 and 153. From the Sophia Code, a living transmission from the Sophia Dragon Tribe by Kaia Raw. So super amazing. And I read on and on and on, and it's just like, oh my God, my goddess love. It's amazing. And so all these synchronicities, this is so fun, like to see it, like work, like the things I've been working with, which is everything really. But like just to see like all these meaningful synchronicities that come up for me that are related to these energies and these qualities that I'm asking to like ground in and anchor here for all beings, for the for the love, for the integrity of the whole, for all beings, for the liberation of all beings. And so yeah, just that that bodhisattva of compassion, liberation. You are the creator of every experience that you have. And so, yeah, we are the creators of our reality. And super empowering to see that, like in so many ways. But yeah, there is that responsibility. And so, and the need to take that accountability. If we can just get out of our own way and not beat ourselves up and not judge ourselves. Yeah, and just, love, gratitude, humility, joy, acceptance, wonder, awe, like, and all this, an appreciation of all this beauty that we are and all this love that we do get to share, and all this love has, like, for us, like, to show us about us, like, and that's always been us. And so, yeah, that's really, really just, kind of just brings like that peace where, do feel that peace within me, even though like a lot of things are unraveling and a lot of things are collapsing and a lot of things look messy out there and just like a convoluted shitstorm sometimes. So, yeah, just getting back to simplicity and being willing to be struck by lightning, even if the light is harsh for a minute, like, and then there's the light of the star that after the storm, and that is just the most beautiful light to see it all as one. And so I love you all. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now. Take good care of yourselves. Be well.